I hope he burns. That's all I can say. Women who get arrested, the reason that you don't get arrested officially, your name hasn't been, taken officially, is because many girls, they get for months and years and they keep them in jail. In Iran, with this regime, everything that has happened to those girls is legal. They can do it as far as the law and no one will touch them. It's not, this revolution is not about, oh, reduce the pressure for hijab. It's not that. We had it enough. 48 years, we had it enough. And now this revolution is about changing the regime. They love Hindi cinema. They love Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan, and they watch the movie. And as you correctly said, one of the first movie that in Iran I watched was the, Sholay.
Hi, this is Samina Sheikh here on Zoom channel, and with me right now I have Mandana Karimi, who is going to speak about the ongoing war, which has kind of turned the events in a different zone altogether, the entire world. And she's going to also speak about the Iran regime. She's going to speak about her experience of staying over there, her childhood memories with Tehran, and lots more. So join me as I welcome her only on Zoom. Lovely to have you, Mandana. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm okay, hanging in there. It's a really tough time and tough days, but hanging in there. Thank you for having me.
But I have to ask you that, as you say that, yes, it's been tough for you. As we speak, we see your journey also. We could see that you are having a tough time what is happening in Iran, but at the same time, you're not having a good time in India as well. You're feeling betrayed, by India. So could you just explain like what exactly has happened while staying in India?
I've lived in India for almost 15 years now, and I've taken this place as my own. I've called India home for so many years. Why I'm doing this and why I'm so vocal about politics, and I'm not a politician. I shouldn't speak about certain matters. But then flashback to now in January, what happened in Iran. It's been something that nobody, if you're a human and you know the reality of what's happening in Iran, you cannot turn your face around. And specifically as an Iranian, it's my duty to talk about it. So it kind of started by, people calling me and saying that, hey, listen, you shouldn't talk. I think you should just post a couple of story. Why you're in so much of a pressure, you're putting so much pressure to people to come on the street. And I explained it why. And to be honest, it's been years that any gatherings for Iranians or in support of Iranian people has happened in Europe, in US. There hasn't been any program in India. And when I've tried to gather people, when I tried to get the permission, they haven't given me permission. And a lot of people, so-called my friend, they kind of dismissed my pain and I understand, it doesn't matter who's going to support me or not. I'm gonna say what is the reality. I'm gonna talk about my truth, and I'm gonna stand behind my people. And I think past couple of months, it's been the loneliest time that I've had in India ever. I've been so disheartened, and but also it is what it is. I look at it that way, but this is not going to stop me from talking about Iran.
Now, also, as you speak about Iran, and yes, rightly so, because it's your birthright, also because you have been a part of that country and you know what is happening. What do you have to say about the regime over there, especially when it comes to women's rights? A lot has been spoken around that. A lot of stories have come out. When Khamenei also, passed away, Khomeini, whenever when he passed away, people were happy. Women were, some of the women were considered to be celebrating that because women were not given that rights. And even Elnaz Naurozi, who's also a Bollywood actress, she also shared her joy of hearing a news like that. What is your thought on that?
See, every Iranian woman that I've known, or all my friends and family, people that I know, they've had some sort of a problem with personal incident with this regime. As a woman in Iran, you have no right of free speech. What you want, what you can wear and what you cannot wear. The education system for women, there are certain areas that as a woman you cannot study, those majors. Then it comes to your marriage. You don't have a right for divorce. So the list goes on. The list goes on. The marriage, the legal age marriage in Iran is very low. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's 9 years old. You can actually get married, and as a woman, you have a very tough life in Iran. And someone like me has been affected by the regime so much that at the age of 18, I said, I can't do this anymore. When I look at the news and I see Mahsa Zaminis, I see the girls, they've lost their life. The only thought in my head is that I could be that girl. I could be Mahsa Amini. I could be the girl who got executed. And this regime has oppressed its own people in so much. And what's happening now, it's not matter of 1 or 2 days. It's been 48 years. The suppression has been so much that people can't, specifically women. And if you see all the movements in Iran has been actually rising because of some sort of someone or a girl or someone's wife went into an incident, and they kind of carry the weight of the revolution, and that's why women are a major part of this revolution. Yeah.
And while we speak about Khamenei, also for that matter, he was in support of women, also, going by certain of his tweets. But at the same time, he has made certain, statements which have been very controversial, where he says that, women can get married at the age of 9, which is, of course, not everyone supports something like that. What do you have
Yeah.
to say about him as a leader and, his passing away, and what are your thoughts on that?
See, him passing away, it made a lot of people happy, Iranians, specifically Iranians, because we have been oppressed by him for so many years. The direct order of mass murdering our people has been done by him. And I don't want to actually talk about him because I hope he burns. That's all I can say. And to be honest, the interesting thing is that if I was an Iranian and I look outside of Iran and what's happening, I would think to myself, these people, why are they dancing? Why are they dancing on someone's death? Because it's not a happy moment for anyone, right? But then when you actually question it deeply, and you understand who he was and what his belief system was in the country and what he has done in years, and by knowing that, example, in jails, the women who get arrested, the reason that you don't get arrested officially, your name hasn't been taken officially, is because many girls, they get for months and years, and they keep them in jail. And in a recent situation which happened in the 8th and 9th of January, a lot of women were out in that day, but the women's body, it would not they couldn't find a women's body. And the question was, where are these bodies? And later on, when we got internet back, there was images of women because their body was brutally, that the uterus was removed to not show the crime that these people have done. So that's all I can say about this so-called a head of a country, or just rot.
Um, but and at the same time, as we speak about him as a supreme leader, he's also lost a lot of people, in his family. Do you feel that, probably the way things have turned out, especially when Trump and Netanyahu also claim that they are fighting for the rights of women, but at the same time, the irony is that women got attacked. When the very first, missile which took place, also almost more than 150 children, girl children, like, got attacked. So, what do you have to say on that? On the U.S.-Israel, stand towards Iran.
Yeah. See, my first question from people who are talking about that 150 children is, where were you when 60,000 people died in 8th of January? Where were you when I was posting pictures and images of women being in jails? Where were you when so many thousand people died in Iran? Is it because suddenly everyone is interested and they're trying to point out an incident just because Israel and America is involved? Is that why? And the second thing is, as a official statement of USA, they have said it. We do not have the information, but we are attacking the regime, not the people. America is not the government who's attacking the civilians or citizens. In fact, Iranian regime is the one who's attacking hospitals, hotels, restaurants, airport, and I'm sure you've seen it in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in UAE. What they're attacking is civilians, right? They do the same thing to their own people, and they do it to outside. And as we speak, in past few days, Iranian people who are in their house and they come out of their window and they're chanting Reza Shah Pahlavi, Javid Shah, they are getting killed by the regime. So in a reality, what's happening, this regime kills its own people, this regime kills other innocent people, and then everyone raised the question, oh, how about the school and 150 people who died? They need to ask themselves, where were you when 60,000 Iranians were died in 8th of January? Where were you? Why I couldn't hear the voices? Why all these people who are now chanting no war and Israel this and Israel that and Iranians shouldn't be happy because it's war in their country? Where we were when we were trying to ask the help from the from everyone on social media, on media? Where were all these people? I couldn't find anyone. And that's one of the reason Iranian like me in Bombay, in India, in such a massive population, I felt
Hmm.
lonely. It's not because I don't have friends. I have friends. But people like that who are talking about the 150 students are the same people who they did not show us support.
What do you have to say about the culture in India also right now? Because women are also having their own fights when it comes to freedom, when it comes to freedom of speech, when it comes to sharing their political opinions and not getting into controversy. You being one, one example where you have shared your opinions and the industry has sidelined you. You have faced that flag, kahin na kahin, and you know that how it becomes, after a point, and the work get disturbed. It becomes difficult to even get, work for that matter. So, what do you have to say about that culture, and especially when India also highly reports about culture, and we get to hear that, almost every other minute we get to, read stories where women, children are, attacked by that. So, what do you have to say on that?
See, as correctly you said, controversial. That word controversial, just like the C word, it comes right. People are like, "Oh my God, don't talk about it. You're gonna lose work. Oh my God, don't talk about it. You're gonna lose followers. You're gonna lose contracts." Right? All I want to say, you know it as well. I've been spoken about Me Too openly. I've spoken about the problems that I had within the industry. I spoke about everything, and specifically because I'm a woman, and when it comes to women's right, I have a soft corner for that issue, right? And a lot of people keep telling me like, "Oh, you've become too much of an activist, too much of an opinion," but I really don't care. And what I want to say to the women who are watching this video, it doesn't matter you're in India, you're in Pakistan, Afghanistan, I don't know, any country that you're living. And when people are trying to stop you and silence you and tell you like, oh, you're gonna lose job or friends or whatsoever, do not care about that. Because if we would not speak, right, do you really think a man who's abusing his own power to make you feel small, to make you feel like, oh, ye to औरत hai, right, ye to औरत hai, ab kya karege, kya karege tum, right? So the moment that happens, I just want to tell your audience, do not get quiet. Because the moment one woman talks, and we have seen this in news, we've seen this in past as well, the moment one woman comes, there is another 10 hands, hundreds hands, and millions they join. So for me, I don't care. I have lost a lot of stuff. I have lost a lot of work, friends. My name has become like she's too activist. Oh, if she's coming, don't invite her because she's going to talk about women. She's going to talk about Iran. And I don't care because I know at the end of the day, I don't need so much in life.
Also, Mandana, as you speak about that, and rightly
Yeah.
said, so that women struggle when it comes to whenever speaking about their own rights, and we have seen those challenges, and and especially when you
Yeah.
point out certain things, be it Me Too, Epstein Files is also a worldwide discussion, and as we speak about it, the recent report of today is
Yeah.
that they have been deleting Epstein Files. People
Yeah.
do have this thought that probably there is this theory, the conspiracy theory, that it's because of the Epstein Files as well. Somewhere,
Yeah.
whatever is coming out, about the pedophilia and about how children were treated, about how women have been treated, following which there are these questions raising, and people are curious to know, probably, is this war related to what is happening in the world, especially when it comes to children and women's safety?
Yeah. See, the people who are talking about Epstein file and they say, oh, these are the same people who were part of that file. I just want to say the reason people from the regime, they're not in that file because everything that has happened to those children, to those girls, it's legal. And I want to repeat myself. In Iran, with this regime, everything that has happened to those girls is legal. they can do it as per as the law, and no one will touch them. So that's the first thing that I want to mention. Second thing, when people attack Iranians now and they say, "Oh, Israelis and Americans are, they have something to do with the spin file, and then they're this or they're that," and then they use the word Islamophobia. They mix up a lot of things, and now there's a lot of fake content coming out. Suddenly, pro-Palestine people are woken up and they say women right, and I'm like, okay, so from the 1,000 Iranian girls on the 8th of January, which we haven't found a body yet, okay, where are those women? So you didn't care about those women. Now you're talking about kids and you're talking about the file and the abuse these girls they've gone through. And to be honest, what all I can say about this whole story which is coming out, that people are saying that these are the same people who are involved in that file, are the same people who very collectively they have empathy for any situation. If it's in their own benefit, sure, they will talk about it. And they are so smart. The wording that they use, oh, the poor little girls, oh, pro-Palestine, Gaza, oh, Israel is bad. No. And those are the same same people who they use this wording, and it's a propaganda of the regime. And the reporters who've been paid, example, by Iranian government to go to Iran and cover everything and say, oh, see, this is beautiful country. We have freedom. Girls are free. They can do whatever they want. The same reporter, they know you as a reporter, as a woman. Let's talk about you. If you write a letter to the embassy that you want to go to Iran, first of all, they check your whole background. If they know that they cannot buy you, you will not be allowed. So many reporters. Why so many reporters are not allowed to go to Iran? Because as a real reporter, if you go to Iran, you will understand what I'm saying. But a reporter who can sell himself or herself, they go to Iran and freely they're showing a beautiful country with a great regime. These are the same people who are creating the propaganda and using the name of the file and
And
Israel.
as we just add to this Epstein files also, the one thing which was noticed and which is a conversation which is
Yeah.
happening ever since Me Too also, which is about women kind of supporting the kind of crimes taking place against women. And many a times women go quiet when they get to know that an XYZ is apparently molested or being mentally tortured or mentally abused by an XYZ man because he's powerful. And there are many women who end up citing such men and end up basically making that women feel like she's not mentally fit enough to kind of
Yeah.
understand the situation. This happened a
Oh,
lot during Me Too. It happened during
thank you for reminding me, because what you said right now remind me of my interview last night. And this reporter is actually telling me, "Oh, I was in Iran. There is no morality police doesn't exist. Don't you think? Don't you think you're being very emotional about it? Don't you think it's just like too much of drama that you guys are showing?" And an Iranian woman, I've been arrested in Iran. I was born in Iran. I lived in Iran. I studied in Iran, and I left Iran when I was 18. And you're so right. And this is a reporter who's a woman and doesn't even give me a right to even talk about my own experience. You're absolutely right. The sad part is women are attacking women as well.
there is no solution to this because this is just happening and happening. And right now when women are exhausted, they don't want to
Yeah.
explain themselves. And if you could see the way things have turned out, the patriarchal system, as we speak about that as well. And when I say patriarchy, it also connects the dots with the religion people follow, especially right now when we speak about Islam. There are different types of Islam which people also follow. And when I say so, people have their own derivatives. Modern Islam doesn't teach people to just kind of wear a hijab, speak, wear burqa. The debate is going on, when the modern, Islam speaks about. At the same time, there is restrictions on women when it comes to dressing in a certain manner. They are
Yeah.
expected to dress in a certain manner. Hijab is made compulsory in Iran. Whenever, a woman wants to kind of, flaunt her hair, flaunt her beauty, they are restricted to that. And
Yeah.
even in India, there are at various occasions when a woman dresses in a certain manner. And unfortunately, if something happens to her, be it, rape or be it molestation, she is blamed for the outfit and not what men has done, to them.
Yeah.
So
And
what do you say?
unfortunately, sorry, and unfortunately now people who are trying to sell the propaganda of the government, the
Hmm.
regime, they say, "Oh no, but we allow you to do whatever you want and wear whatever." And I said to this person that
Hmm.
it's not, this revolution is not about, oh, reduce the pressure for hijab. It's not that. We had it enough. 48 years. We had it enough. And now this revolution is about changing the regime. They have to go. And a lot of people outside of Iran, they're trying to make this revolution because of hijab. It's not, because we have so much of problem in Iran, from execution, the rapes is happening, the human, as a human, you have no right. And forget the human, dogs are not allowed. If you're getting arrested with your dog in your car, you're going to be prison and they're going to kill your dog. I mean, that's the regime that we are talking about. And
Yeah,
this
I
revolution
know.
is not about, hijab, or how Iranian women, they want to, oh, you Iranian women, you want to go and be naked on the street. No, that's not what we want. As a human, you cannot live under a regime which murders its own citizens.
And even like if they just color their hair, also that time also they face the flag. If they're active on social media, don't you also feel that women who already have good control on their body are actually controlled by the men around, who, like, even if she's physically active, before marriage, there's a lot of questions, around her, and they don't let women be women. They are judged, character shamed. We have seen that. We have seen that happening for years. And even though the industries could be like, pretending to be the most democratic, industry, even at such occasions, women are constantly judged, and they fight that battle while being on camera. Being an actress, being someone who's an influencer in the society right now. What do you have to say on that?
Well, you're absolutely right, because if you look at my social media now, and if you look at my post is talking about my Iranian, my country, my people, what's happening in Iran. And it kind of it's sad that instead of have a conversation with me, say that you don't know about Iran, or say something like, oh, what are you talking about, right? Ask question. But instead of that, they say, oh, your ugly face, go back to your country, you pig, you this. And the first place they attack you is the way you look, or the way you dress, or the way, I don't know, you were part of this industry or that industry. And that's the reality, and that's unfortunate. But again, for someone like me, I don't really think about it anymore, or I don't even care about it anymore, because as you said, a lot of girls, they do get attacked. It doesn't matter what industry you are. Like before, I thought like, oh, it's only in movie industry, but I am part of another industry now, and I see it. What it is, it doesn't it's not about what industry you are in. It's about the men need to change their behavior around women. Just because woman is wearing whatever she's wearing, it doesn't give you a right to disrespect her. It could be her body, her face, or shaming her. And that's I think that's a little bit of a mentality, or like, the way they say, oh, you need to teach your sons, instead of telling the girl, don't wear what you wear. So I think that's something we women, we have fought for so many years, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's a fight that we still fighting. It's 2026, and women
yeah.
still in some villages in let's say Afghanistan, or even in
Yeah.
India, there are some villages that
Hmm.
women are still getting child marriage. All of that is happening.
And
and
it
and this
happens in
is
cities also, in fact,
in it.
metropolitan cities. Yeah, right
Yeah.
now, like even in
and
Mumbai,
and look at,
during Delhi also.
of course, and look at the numbers of the rape, as you correctly said. Every day
Hmm.
we hearing, like every minute, or every and most of these people, they don't even report that they were. Then the family is going to be shamed. Then she's not going to find a husband, or she's not going to be allowed to go to certain places. Unfortunately, it's the fight that
Hmm.
still going on.
That's true. And as Mandana, you mentioned also, during a conversation
Yeah.
that when you were in Tehran, when you were in Iran, you were also arrested. What led to that arrest? If you could just, share some points on
Well,
that.
I mean, once the first time that I got kind of arrested and was taken to the police station with a couple of my classmates. I was 14 years old, and we were in a park doing our homework, working on a project. One of the classmates, her scarf was a little bit behind. They came, they arrested us. Our parents, they came to the police station. We were a kid. We didn't even understand like why. Anyhow, and then this situation has happened multiple times, but the last time, the major one, which actually changed my life, it was when I was 17, and I was at the party, and then I got into the accident. We went to the hospital, and apparently they got to know that we were partying or whatever. They followed us, and when we came back to the house, because the group that we were, obviously, these people are sick in their mind. They knew probably one of the girls and the boys are girlfriend and boyfriend, and that's haram. That's not allowed, and you get arrested for it. And they got us all, and they kept us in a cell for I think we were there for like 3 days. On the third day, they were about to remove us, and they said, "We're not going to let you go like this. We're going to teach you a lesson." And all of us, we got lashes. And because my leg, because I came from hospital, I got a scar from that incident. My leg, my head, it was broken. I had stitches for 3 days, no food, no water. Talking about Iran so much is because I've been affected by this regime. I know an Iranian girl right now in Iran, the way they live their life. I know how I used to live my life. I know how fearful I used to be, because now I have the privilege in India to sit here peacefully, live a life, have a career, do whatever I want, right? But people in Iran, girls in Iran, we didn't have that privilege. And that's why I'm so passionate about Iran and talking about everything that is happening in Iran.
But that, as you say this, and it's a very valid point, as you pointed this out, because I have heard this from a lot of people out there who have been, in Iran, and women especially, they have struggled. But just to, add, and, a few more points before I let you also go. You have also been quite alone and a shy person as a child. You have been in your own zone, and especially when you come back to that phase of your life where again you're alone, where you are kind of, finding it difficult to also, just adjust with the environment. And when I say so, in Bollywood also you had your own struggles. You had to kind of let go of your career in Bollywood and you moved to interior decoration because a lot of politics keep on taking place, when it comes to Bollywood, when it comes to cinema. Do you feel while the medium of art is to express freely, and for actors it should be like that, because that is art is an emotion, somewhere it's not what it is portrayed all the time, and it's very difficult to even have your own standing while being in the world of glamour?
Yeah. Well, see, as I said again, any industry has the problems. The most of the industries are run by men. Now, finally, after many years, we see more CEOs and who are women, or they own their own company, or they're part of the industries, on a major part of the industry. All I want to say, the fight for women is not going to stop. The fact that we're such amazing creatures. Let me put it that way. And the fight is not gonna it's not gonna end. The men who are abusing women, they're not gonna finish just because I changed my career or I went to another country. That I know of. That I know of it. But also, you should not stop talking about it, because the fact that these people, they're abusing their power, the moment that a woman stops talking about it, that's where the actual problem starts. That's where you see a girl gets because you didn't talk about the previous one. There is another one, and there is another victim. So what I'm trying to say is that as a woman, we should not stop talking about it, and you should find your own tribe, people who are thinking like you, who you can get a support. It's very difficult, because as you said also, I've been what do you call, blacklisted. I've been left alone. I've lost contract, and people were like, oh, she's talking about everything. But that doesn't stop me ever, because this is who I am. This is who I am, and this is how I'm going to be. And whoever doesn't like it, I don't really care. This is about Iran, and it has to be about Iran. It has to be about Iranians and what we want and what we are asking the world. And I want to say this: my personal life right now is my country, is my people, to make sure to amplify their voices out there. What we want as an Iranian, we want the regime to go. The second, we have a leader, and his name is Reza Shah Pahlavi, and he's been selected, he's been supported, and he has the support of all Iranians inside Iran and outside Iran. And third, for the world, if you don't understand why we are happy because of the war, there are so many Iranian platforms, such as myself. I share a lot of information. Please question. Instead of coming to the conclusion and saying that, oh, Iranians this or Iranians that, question it. Question from Iranians who they lived that life, who they were in Iran or they were born in Iran to understand the situation and have empathy for Iranians, and make sure if you have any Iranian friends or whoever they are Iranian, be kind to them, because right now my country is bleeding, my people are bleeding, and we've been bleeding for so many years. And just have empathy for Iranians.
And just to add, to this only, as you speak about Iran,
Yeah.
Palestine is also kind of, struggling when it comes to the bombing
Yeah.
and the way, things have turned out. A lot of children have passed away, even, and we have seen the visuals and all. What do you have to say about Netanyahu and Trump as leaders, and what do you have to say about Palestine as a country who's also equally struggling?
See, as I mentioned before, also I'm not politician. I'm not part of any organization. I don't have a personal opinion on people, especially a leader of a country. But what I want to say about them, and also, I give you an example. What was happening in India a few months back when the war happened between India and Pakistan. I simply put a story about the world is on fire. I did not say that why this country is bombing the other one. Why? Because I don't know. I'm not Modi ji. I don't know the reason behind it. And I'm sure there is a reason behind it, right? But I got a backlash for it. And people said, oh, you're supporting Pakistan. I never do that. I do not support any government. I do not support any war. I do not stand with anyone who's I don't know, going towards fighting with another nation. I do not do that. I stand right now at the moment. I stand with people of UAE and other countries, neighbor countries, which they've been affected by this war. I stand with people who are affected by this war. But again, as an Iranian, I'm saying that Iranian people inside Iran and outside Iran, they have asked the help of Mr. Trump and Israelian, and we got the help. Yes, we don't like war. No one likes war. No one wants their country to get attacked by another country, right? That's everyone knows that. And again, politicians, they play politics. I don't play politics. If my country has asked for help, my people inside Iran, they've written on the walls, USA help us, SOS USA and Israel. And these two governments, they've helped my people. I stand with my people. That's what I think about both of them. And I am thankful to the both governments.
And lastly, before I let you go, Mandana, I also want you to kind of just divert your mind and come back to the world of cinema. And as I speak about that, we have just, done some research around it. And I've just figured out one of the things which is very interesting about you, that your father had this cassette of Sholay, the very first movie, which you have also seen. And tell us about the cinema, the love for cinema, what you have in your eyes for Indian cinema, and otherwise also some movies, which you have seen in Iran. And if you could recommend to people, and while you're right now alone, how do you kind of pass your
Yeah.
time when you are with yourself, because you are into photography, you are into painting, you are into graphic
Yeah.
designing. We really want to know something more about you.
Yeah. See, the reason I've said it recently that I'm heartbroken and I feel India has betrayed me is because Iranians and Indians, I'm talking about Iranians back in Iran, they love Hindi cinema. They love Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan, and they watch the movie. And as you correctly said, one of the first movie that in Iran I watched was the Sholay, and I know the love that Iranian people they have for Indian cinema, and they watch Hindi movies. They know Bollywood, all of that. I wish Indian people who are messaging me saying that, oh, don't worry, we support Iran and we love Iranian people and so on. So I wish they would have support Iran a little bit loudly and publicly, because whoever is supporting the regime right now in India, it could be the media, it could be the people, they loudly supporting the regime. While the people who are saying that, oh no, we are with Iranians people, Mandana, you are not alone, we've got your back. When I need them, no one is there. So that's why it breaks my heart, because Iranians love Indian cinema. Iranians love Iranians, and we have so many Iranian people who they've got married to an Indian, or they live here, or they have kids here, and that's the reality of Iran and how much they love Indians. Yeah.
That's interesting. And I just hope that, yes, your thought is valid for you as you speak about it, with whatever you have been through. But I just hope that you stay back in India. And I hope that whatever issues are happening, the concerns get sorted. But at the same time, I must say that, and commendable enough, the way you have spoken, Mandana, about the rights of Iranian, women and Iran for that matter. And I just hope that things, how you speak about, do change and we get to see that change. And I think we all always want change in a society and for betterment. And I'm sure you're also aiming at that. And we are hoping that, the society turns out to be a better one.
Of
But
course, of
lovely
course.
chatting with you. I must say
Thank,
that.
thank
Yeah,
you
and
so
lovely,
much.
lovely
No, of
chatting with
course,
you.
of course, we all are praying and hoping for a free Iran, a day that we can actually have this interview maybe in Iran, while I'll show you my beautiful country and I show you my beautiful culture in Iran, not outside of Iran. And thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.
Same here, same here.
Ja,
Thank you so much. Thank you,
thank
Mandana.
you, thank you.
Bye.
Javed Shah Piruz Iran. Thank you.